This video is sponsored by Fan Home, offering high-end models and figurines. They have a new model, and this is Robocop from the iconic 1987 movie. And this is a high-end model with many detailed parts, and you can start this today. As little as $1.95 can get you started, and this is what is sent to you, everything you need to begin to build Robocop. And so also comes with detailed magazines that talk about history of Robocop, as well as a step-by-step basis on how to assemble it. It's very detailed. You just follow the instructions, and before you know it, you will have assembled Robocop, and you will have a magnificent collectible item for your game room. The link to Fan Home is below, where you can start building your high-end models today. There are many video games connected to Robocop since the original 1987 release. And in today's video, I'm taking a look at some of the more oddball games connected to the Robocop franchise. Games that were either uncommon, unreleased, or games that weren't widely known about. These are personal picks. These are ones that I didn't see a lot growing up, as I'm a huge fan of the Robocop franchise. Again, I apologize about my voice. My voice is going out, so just bear with me and sit back, relax. Let's have some fun. Here we go. The arcade game for Robocop 2 came out almost a year after the movie, and actually it was after other computer releases that came out a year before. So for whatever reason, I didn't grow up with this. I didn't see it. I don't know how super uncommon it is. It was released by Data East, as they covered the arcade games, at least here in the States. And you know what? This is like a brawler. And I got to experience this at Next Level Pinball Arcade Museum this last year, and I really enjoyed playing it. I actually beat it with a friend of mine. The second player, Robocop, has the colors of the Robocop 2. As you get close to enemies, you can punch them and throw them, and then it has these like third-person perspective modes. There's also some first-person driving scenes, I do believe, if I remember correctly. The game's okay. I do like the original arcade release a lot better, and a lot of people may not know about this arcade release, but even seeing a physical release of it was pretty awesome to see that in person, as this is an arcade game that's not widely known. It's a lot more uncommon than the original arcade release. It's not as good, and you know, by the early 90s, arcades were starting to be on the decline, but I found myself enjoying this, as I like these types of games. I'm a big brawler fan, and I'm a big Robocop fan, so seeing a game, you know, I've never played this actual game that much. It was nice to beat it. Robocop for Game Boy Color was canceled in North America, but it did receive an overseas release. I've never seen this game, found out about it, and you know, it's pretty interesting because Titus is a developer that doesn't get a lot of popularity. You know, it's known for making some pretty bad video games and licensed tie-ins. But here we have Robocop, that was also a Game Boy Advance game. It was supposed to come out, and that was canceled. But it takes a pretty unique perspective, overhead view. There are several missions in which you're trying to take out the baddies, destroy something. And you know what? It's pretty nice, well animated. I like the music and sound effects. Really thought this is actually a pretty solid game. You know, I think the Game Boy Color often gets overshadowed by its bigger brother, the Game Boy Advance, and the original Game Boy games. But really nice color palette here, and I found myself really enjoying this. And it's nice to see that Titus actually released a game that it doesn't stink. And so this is a game I probably go back and play more, as I found it really has a nice appeal, as it kind of, to me, it feels like a Robocop game, but it's doing something different than like the original arcade release. And so this is something you may want to check out. I do believe the game is available online. Don't ask. And hope you enjoy this, as well as the other games that I show in this video. As you know what, there's a lot of Robocop games out there that just did a little bit something different, and this is definitely in the mix, as it was only offered in a specific region. I never saw this game growing up, so it's nice to see that it was offered somewhere else. Another canceled game was Robocop vs. Terminator for the original NES. Mostly probably due to its late release. I do believe it was supposed to come out in 93, and by then the original NES was kind of not a commercial juggernaut that it used to be. And so this version of Robocop vs. Terminator differs from the other releases. It's more of an action platform game, and for some people they may be disappointed seeing that, but I actually found myself enjoying this as I'm a big action platform fan. I don't know how many stages there are, just wanted to show some of the gameplay. One of the challenges with this game is that sometimes the background, which is like you have to shimmy across these like pipes, it blends in, and so I had to figure that out first playing this. But I like that Robocop can fire in all 8 directions, and so I thought that was pretty cool, and I found myself liking the perspective of this. Pretty challenging game, but you know what, not bad. This is definitely one I would probably go back and play more, and I know this is one of the first games available online back in the late 90s is kind of what some of the information I found online about it. But yeah, if you want to play something different, you want to play a Robocop game you didn't know that came out, you may want to check this out, as I found myself liking this game, and I know that there'll be other people appreciating it and playing it, and it's nice that these types of prototypes are preserved forever, as, you know what, it's nice to see that there were other Robocop games planned, and unfortunately not all of them got released. We all know Robocop 3 was kind of a disappointment, and it was the start of the decline of the franchise, but I do appreciate what games were connected to the disappointing movie. And for the Amiga and Atari ST, there was early 3D game Robocop 3. I really do like what they tried to do in this game. It's not the best game, and you know what, it has some sensitivity issues, and even in emulation it was hard to control. But I do like that they tried to go 3D with Robocop 3, and it really shows the power of the Amiga and the Atari ST. And you know what, I would have loved playing this game back in the day, and did find myself appreciating it and playing it. And so you're pretty much, there's 2 like main gameplay aspects of this game. There's like a driving sequence, you go around and you're, you know, doing mission objectives, and it is really sensitive though. You can hit into things way too easy. Looking at reviews online, the original release had sensitivity issues as well, so it's not just emulation. But I do like what they did try to do in this game, as being in 1993, this is pretty impressive for a computer release. And you know what, did anybody remember this when it came out? You know, for me, I only had one friend with an Amiga, so he did not have this game. And so here's the shooting sequences, very tough, as you get fired upon, like, you know, through walls and stuff. So there's a lot of issues with the gameplay mechanics, but that's what makes this game pretty unique. As you know, in 93, when a lot of other consoles were just releasing 2D games, you know, Amiga and the Atari ST were really branching out and being pioneers with that 3D gameplay. And I appreciate it, and it definitely makes my list, as I find this game pretty interesting. I did a previous video talking about my Tandy Color computer collection, and there was a Robocop release for that. Here's a clip from what I said.
Now, Robocop is kind of an interesting game. It was released late, and it was a 128K game. And, you know, I just think it definitely showed kind of the age of the color computer. You know, it was really starting to get long in the tooth by the time this came out. Not known to be the best version of Robocop, but it's a game that I still enjoy playing, even though it's not the best version. If you're a fan of the series, definitely check out Robocop.
So of the games I shared with you today, what is your picks? In the comments below, let me know. And as always, thank you for the ongoing support. I apologize about my voice. It's going out. just still wanted to do the video as I'm a huge Robocop fan and wanted to share some of these oddball games with you. So thank you so much. If you like what you see, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.